Welcome back, guys. Dylan Monte Cristo once again with you for our final match of the day. It's going to be great. Guangzhou Charge taking on the Paris Eternal. And after the season, or the stage rather, that Paris had last time around, you can expect this one to be kind of a tough one coming into it.
Yeah, especially because, as you've seen today, we are shifting into a meta where multi-DPS looks do have a lot of advantages, and the Charge are very good at putting those on maps.
Well, there you go, our overall season standings at the moment. Of course, we expect that to change quite a bit throughout the stage, but Eternal has a lot of ground to make up. Charge going 3-4 in their first stage. They had such a tough schedule as we look at the patch changes and the map changes and the hero changes. You know, we've got new hero,
all the
new map, all that stuff. I want to talk about these teams though. Guangzhou Charge, 3-4 in stage 1. Keep in mind, 2 of those losses were against the Vancouver Titans. They had a really tough stage. Paris, on the other hand, had, you know, I would say a fairly medium sort of strength of schedule and had a bit of a tough time, but they will get to play on some home turf today. That's right. We are going to see Paris, our new assault map.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we got to see it for the first time today in the NYXL versus Philadelphia Fusion map, and most people think of this map as being very attacker favored. There is a low amount of high ground for the defenders, lots of flanking routes, but we didn't even see the Philadelphia Fusion complete this map when they played against the NYXL. So that was a bit of a surprise. Obviously, we're still getting a lot of data on this map from the professional teams, and we'll see how this metagame evolves over the course of the stage.
It is an interesting map. You've got that giant area behind point A where you can move people into the water, and then on point B, you've got these really, really long sight lines and a very open point as well. So the attackers have a lot of sort of like looks at the defenses they're approaching, and you can see there's not a lot of really big high ground to kind of hold your ground on as the defenses. It's a tricky map. It's going to take the teams a little bit of a time to kind of figure out, I think.
Well, also one of those high grounds is on the attacking flank, right?
Yeah.
As you on the right side as you head into the point. So
exactly.
It's still very interesting. I assume many of the times we will be going to time bank on that map, but that is not how it played out earlier today. So I might be wrong. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So in terms of talking about the changes we're seeing in the stage, one of those, of course, is the changes that come along with the patch, with the addition of Batiste. And so a team like Guangzhou Charge that was already showing us these multiple DPS looks is probably going to benefit from this, right?
Yeah, and a lot of, like you're saying, these 3 DPS compositions. Now, Guangzhou Charge, as you see, were only second to the Chengdu Hunters, their opponents in that first clip, in terms of using 3 or more DPS on map. And they did it about over 16% of the time. Keep in mind that the league average was 2.8%. So it's them and Chengdu who are really the top of that. And not only that, but we see Hotba flexing into that tracer role. So you'd think coming in that this is going to be a strong meta for the Guangzhou Charge and a chance to really prove themselves and push into the stage playoffs here in stage 2.
On the Paris side of things, I think this is a real opportunity for them to kind of break out. We know Shadowburn can play a really mean Pharah. This is an opportunity for them to say, hey, you know, all right, the 3-3 thing, let's forget about it. Probably still going to play a good amount, but let's put Pharah, you know, let's put Shadowburn on the Pharah. Let's kind of mix some things up, throw some more DPX looks in there. But they are kind of thrown into the fire here, I think, because they play against Guangzhou first, and I think their next match is against the Hunters, too. So that's going to be already those 2 teams we talked about that were so DPS heavy right out of the gate. It's going to be tough for Paris.
And, you know, we thought coming in, obviously one of the major changes for Paris is their head coach, Demon, has moved over to become the Tanks assistant coach of the Dallas Fuel, which has raised Fefe, one of their assistant coaches, into that head coach role. But for Paris, everybody assumed, given the strength of European 3-3, that we were going to see them emphasize that and that they were going to be one of the best teams in that meta. Now, a lot of the reason why they were somewhat underwhelming is they didn't have great Zarya play from Soon or Shadowburn. So now we have to say, okay, is Shadowburn going to be given a chance to pop off on his signature Genji, a legendary Genji player in Shadowburn from the earliest days of Overwatch, and is Soon going to be able to come back on the Tracer? Because it is going to be more of that meta, but I'm not sure if they switch into that style, if their tanks and supports are going to be able to keep up with them. Just as their DPS were not able to keep up with their tanks and supports in the 3-3 meta. So Paris, might be in a bit of trouble, honestly.
I mean, that's the thing. They had a lot of things that they really needed to work on. They've had a little bit of time to do that now, of course, but there were multiple points of improvement that needed to be made. And it's not easy if you look at some of these players on the other side. I mean, Shu, of course, jumps to mind immediately as a flex support guy myself. Like Shu, of course, one of my favorite players to watch in Stage 1. This guy was incredible on the Ana, on the Zenyatta, and he's going to give anybody trouble, whether you're on Paris or not.
And obviously, it's very early in the season, but this guy currently, as it stands after a single stage, is one of the candidates we're looking at for Rookie of the Year in this league. He has been absolutely outstanding, playing on in a lot of situations where other teams would have been reluctant and excelling in that role. Also being able to play the Zenyatta at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
And if you look at him, here are some Zenyatta stats for you. He's a very balanced Zen player. You can see second in healing for 10, fourth in hero damage for 10. He's very reminiscent of Shaz in that he is usually in like the top 5 of both of those categories, whereas most Zen players tend to be high in one and lower in the other.
Yep, that's right. He's able to kind of be the total package so far. And you mentioned the Ana too, and Shu, of course, already really good on the Ana, but I think it's really cool that we're starting to see a lot of these flex supports just like play a lot more Ana in general, despite the Diva being on the other side, because now with the changes to defensive matrix, you've got that 2-second cooldown between uses, even if there is more in the bar yet. You're seeing these Ana players saying, you know what, I can play around that, I can be good enough to make this hero work, and that certainly seems to be working. But enough of us. Let's finally get our teams on the stage. Our first team in this match, none other than the Guangzhou Charge. Charo, the main support, leading the charge onto the stage. And this is a team, again, that had an extremely difficult strength of schedule in stage number 1. I think we're going to see even better stuff from them in stage number 2.
I agree. I think the meta suits them. I'm really excited. I spent a lot of time last stage hyping up Happy's Widowmaker. We didn't get to see a lot of it, but you know what, though? We've seen a lot of it today.
Oh, yeah.
Widowmaker in general. Not Happy's Widowmaker, but I hope to see a lot of Happy's Widowmaker as we head into our final match of the evening.
I think it'd be pretty surprising not to see Happy play a ton of Widowmaker today. I mean, we've seen pretty much everybody who's touched Widow in the past bring that hero out. Of course, Eileen can just keep doing the Sombra if he wants to, too. I mean, these guys have a lot of options. Let's see what they decide to bring against their opponents. It is the Paris Eternal. And a team falling a little bit short, no doubt, of their goals in stage number 1. But you know what, Monty? It's a new stage. It's a new patch. Let's see what they can do.
And we've got Gray actually leading the lineup out tonight.
Yeah.
A long-time player in the general Overwatch scene. Many players who've been watching international competition might know him from the Portuguese Overwatch World Cup team, where he was, a very good flex support player, and at least in the early days of Overwatch, notable for being one of the Sombra Masters of Europe out of that flex support position.
That's a very good point.
So we don't really know where Gray's going to be going with this, but he is a very skilled mechanical player, as we've seen from his Sombra. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's going to pull out the Baptiste. And now, of course, Shadowburn will be returning to the stage for Paris alongside Soon.
Yep.
So no Nico.
No Nico yet, but interesting enough, putting in Cloudy as well.
Yeah, Cloudy is going to be in the starting lineup today. Ben Best fielding the tanking duties for stage 1, but he's been primarily a Reinhardt player, so it may really signal a change in strategy, maybe over towards Wrecking Ball and Winston, like we've seen in most of the matches today.
We have been seeing a lot more Winston in general, just with the change to how kind of like armor works in this patch. Winston seems to be kind of the go-to in a lot of situations. Also, our map pool in stage just kind of favors a lot more Winston 3-3 than Reinhardt 3-3 too. So.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of, there's so many real patch changes to go over right now, but a lot of buffs as well to DPS heroes mean that Reinhardt a little bit more vulnerable.
Our Toyota map set, let's check it out. Gonna start things off on Oasis, going to Paris, Eichenwald, and Junkertown after that, and then if we need it, that 5th control map. This will be our first look at Junkertown in stage 2 in the new patch. One of your favorite maps, I know.
I actually do like Dokkan. I know I'm in the minority for most most Overwatch League analysts, at least, in terms of my love of Junkertown.
I think it's a fun one. It's fun to see a very, what has traditionally been a very attacker-favored escort map. So we'll get to that later. Right now, it's all about Oasis, our control map. Of course, a little bit of King of the Hill action. First one to win 2 rounds wins the map. And Charge and Paris both charging out with that Winston 3-3 for now.
Yeah, Shu interestingly running the Moira, so a bit of a healing advantage over there on the side of the Guangzhou Charge.
They're gonna have a little bit more AoE healing overall, and of course those damage orbs can do quite a bit of damage if they're left unchecked.
Yeah, I don't think Guangzhou anticipated Paris not to run Shadowburn on the Pharah here because they don't have a Discord orb to burn down tanks.
Yeah, you think now would be the time to run that far, but Shadowburn, speaking of getting burned down, he's in a lot of trouble, barely stays alive. Now it's Cruz under threat, but Chara, the first to fall Shadowburn, gets him with the whip shot on the Brigida, and Guangzhou Charge has to run. Shu gonna build up that coalescence really quickly, but can he keep his tanks alive? While he does so, he can, at the moment anyway. Although Rio had to jump away. That's going to be another kill for Paris here as Guangzhou Charge bullied out of the point.
Yeah, Guangzhou, they see Shadowburn and soon, without Nico there, they're thinking there's not going to be a Brigida. They're going for a DPS-focused composition, but that just isn't the case. And now we're going to get a pause.
All right, well, we'll have to see what the deal is with that.
Yeah, so when obviously they weren't expecting that, so when they come out of the gates, hence the reasoning behind the Moira pickup, because we frequently see Moira used because she can fade out of danger if she's getting flanked by a DPS or shot by a Pharah on the rockets, and you provide so much healing to your tank line, it becomes very difficult for DPS heroes to chunk through. But the other side of that is if you're running the Moira into a 3-3 composition, sure, you've got the healing, but you don't have the Discord orb to focus down a single target, and you need that extra bit of amplified damage. Otherwise, you're never going to get through the sustain. So, Paris Eternal, bit of mind games there. I like it, and that gets them the point first.
Yeah, they've got a couple support ultimates too to pair with this, whereas Guangzhou Charge not even close anymore. Soon, all charged up, doing a ton of damage. Gonna throw that grab in on the other side of the pillar. It's gonna be the sound barrier as well. Char and Eileen down already. Such a strong start. It's kind of looking like the Paris Eternal from their first match last stage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And Guangzhou, they're trying to adapt. They're playing Shu over on the Zenyatta already. But honestly, Eternal getting some good value out of their ultimates as the percentage keeps ticking up. Reminder, because we haven't seen Oasis so far, yet really in the Overwatch League, is that this point in particular frequently goes to 99-99 overtime.
Yeah, it does.
It's...
Oh, we'll see if it does. Paris Eternal, everybody popping the ultimates, rallies used on both sides to give their teams that extra armor. Happy now, the one with the Graviton Surge, and if you're charged, this is how you want to turn it around. You can land this ultimate, but he's just going to go and roast Cloudy. Wow. Just zaps him down.
Yep.
What can you do?
They knew he didn't have the ultimate ups to get the extra HP, so he's going to be the target of choice.
Rio goes ahead and uses his Primal Rage to help him seal the deal on this one. Hatva had used his ultimate as well, but slowly but surely the members of Paris Eternal going down, and that's going to be Guangzhou Charge eventually flipping the point.
Yeah, we'll get up to 90% or so here. 87 is the number that it ends on. Guangzhou Charge being pretty conservative overall in terms of their old usage. Happy because they got the first pick onto Cloudy. Didn't have to commit to the Graviton. Soon, nearly up at a Graviton to match, however.
Yeah. Eileen getting pretty close to the rally on the Charge side as well. Paris Eternal has some tools to use, but they've got time. They don't need to get desperate here.
They don't. So they're going to try and re-engage right now.
Yeah, all right, here we go.
Seize the opportunity.
Yeah, there's the grab. Can they follow it up? They can. Shadowburn soon. Everybody going down to that one. That's a very clean fight won by Guangzhou, but Paris, of course, not dedicating really anything to it anyway, just building some ults.
Yeah, but Happy, all he had to use was the Graviton, and Cruz died before the sound barrier could be executed. So Paris doesn't commit much themselves, but it is still percentage over to the point for the Guangzhou Charge that they get at excellent value.
Indeed. Of course, Happy, we were hoping to see his Widowmaker. I think we still will today, but for now, still at that Zarya. Fairly well powered up, damage-wise. Just holding that high ground. It is tough to dislodge the Zarya sometime if she's up there. Here we go. Paris Eternal getting aggressive now. Cloudy nowhere near that ultimate though. Soon, the grab.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid the Graviton right now. Guangzhou spread out.
All right, Primal Rage gets used. Soon waiting this one out. No, there's a grab right now. Traps Guangzhou charge against the pillar. Vinci with the self-destruct gets Eileen. The sound barrier not able to protect him. And Paris using their own sound barrier to try to keep the momentum going here.
Yeah, time still ticking up though for the Guangzhou charge. Capture hasn't happened yet.
Paris Eternal, though, turning the tide. It is over 90% for Guangzhou, and like we said, this round usually plays very close, no matter who the teams are, but it will be Paris switching it back again. 99% for Guangzhou, but 90% already for Paris.
And Gray managed to hold on to the Transcendence at the end of the fight. Watch Happy, though. He's so close to another Graviton.
That's going to be the key. They got to keep Happy alive. They got to get the grab. And if they can get a good one, they might be able to switch it back again. They're trying to flip it now. Grab gets used by Happy. They get the kills out of that one. They trap Paris, but weren't able to finish anybody off right now. Paris back on the point. Charge nearly flipped it, but couldn't quite get it done. Shu with his Transcendence now. They might need to use that in a hurry. Eileen gets the shield just at the last minute. There we go. Shu trying to keep people alive with the Zenyatta. Oh, Chara gets caught, though, with the self-destruct from Vinci. Paris with an opportunity here. There goes Hotba as well. So Paris maintaining. They look like they might be able to push charge off, but no, as soon as I say it, Eileen and Happy grab a couple, but Gray right back with one on Rio, and now Cruz has that sound barrier. Paris Eternal looks like they might be able to come out with the round, and they do, taking the lead on this map.
And props to Paris. The mind games pay off because they get so much percent off of winning that first engagement because of the Shadowburn Soon combination. Guangzhou charge a bit fooled by that starting lineup, but I don't think they're going to be fooled again.
Right. It was a nice trick, putting in 2 DPS players and then having them run the 3-3 anyway. It's like, well, you know what they say, fool me once, you know, shame on me, fool me twice. And that's probably going to be a map going to Guangzhou.
It's fool me once, shame on you, but yes.
Oh, it is? I don't know. I've never been fooled, so I don't know how that is for people. Sounds hard. We're going to go to University for the next round here on Oasis. Paris Eternal looking to close this one out with a 2-0. Now Guangzhou charge throwing in their own DPS. Paris Eternal, though, sticking with that 3-3.
Yeah, Guangzhou, they're really committing to running. You see this Orisa composition here, and they've got the McCree, but there aren't going to be very many flankers here for the Paris Eternal. Can they get Cloudy when he comes in with a flashbang?
That's the thing. You got to be really careful, not just get run over with this. There's
Nice
a
flashbang.
Ooh, the follow-up, not quite there, though. Finzi nearly D-back. Now they get Soon. You really got to watch out for that flashbang, because you know there's going to be a Fan the Hammer coming in afterwards.
Oh, my.
That's Charge doing the opposite. Waiting for Eternal to charge in and making him pay for it.
Wow, Happy just shredding them with multiple Fan the Hammers, and they find Soon when he doesn't have a projected barrier, hit him with a flashbang, get him low, and separate him from the rest of the team. That leads to that first elimination, and Guangzhou charge will start building up that control percentage.
Yep. The hammer was fanned, indeed.
Now remember, one of the changes this patch is that the Deadeye will deal more damage more quickly. So it is very good at destroying Winston bubbles and barriers.
Happy just trying to stay evasive. There's the Deadeye coming in now. Can he find anybody with it? Waiting for it. Oh, he gets 2. And that's what we're talking about, man. 2 tanks pop just like that. That's the new Deadeye.
That is the new Deadeye right there. You get to the 550 damage in I think 1.75 seconds now, so it can be, you can just delete people off the map. It can take out Winston bubbles. It can take out Reinhardt shields with ease.
Deader eye, basically.
Extra deadly eye,
Extra dead, yeah.
And Happy's been dealing so much damage. He got it relatively quickly.
I mean, McCree's usually did anyway, but Happy certainly quicker than a lot. Waiting for that flashbang around the corner. There we go. Nice damage loaded into Finzi there. Has to back away. Gets another one as well. Looks like Paris going to get a lot of the way towards flipping this one. It's going to be the Primal Rage as well from Cloudy to try to push everybody on charge back again. Char and Rio both down. And so Paris giving up a lot of percentage here, but it looks like in the end, they will be able to flip it back and start building a little bit of a control percent themselves.
Yeah, they just want to die on the point right now because they are close to one-fight territory after this flips at 77%.
You're really happy with this if you're Guangzhou charge. You saved a bunch of ultimates. You got a ton of percentage. You're going to be pretty thrilled.
Yeah, you're nearly at 6 ultimates right now. Although Paris Eternal, they do have the trance to deal with Eileen. on the Graviton Surge. The problem is you can't stop the instant damage coming in from a Deadeye if you allow Happy to get into position. Paris needs to be proactive with this Graviton and try and combo with Finzy's self-destruct before they can get into a good position behind an Orisa barrier to unleash hell with the Deadeye.
Yeah. Unleash death with the Deadeye. There's the grab. All right. Happy. Can't shoot that. Ooh, he got it around the corner just in time. Ooh, nearly found that kill on the Gray anyway. That was a close one, but Paris managed to avoid the Deadeye. Now they have to worry about Eileen's grab. Cloudy taking a lot of damage here. They've done that. Oh, but there's Rio. Gets taken out. But is Paris in the position to chase? They are. And so, Paris Eternal maintains control of the point. Again, they're up to 50%.
Guangzhou only invested that sound barrier. When the fight was lost, they backed off. Paris had to use the grab and, of course, a self-destruct to win that fight. They claw themselves back within striking distance of that 77%. They still have the trance, at least, for Eileen's Graviton.
They've got the tools. They just need to put them to work. Try to tie this map up. Paris Eternal trying to hold. There's a grab on the wall to pull everybody in. The Transcendence used by Gray. But gets his mech back. Doesn't get any kills with that self-destruct, though. Cruz gets run over, though. Hotba just takes him down with the rockets as he flies by. And now Guangzhou charge, flipping the point back again. Happy zoning with the Deadeye. Yes, it's a real thing. I said it. Zoning ultimate. Charge, meanwhile, cleaning up the rest of Paris Eternal. And that's going to be a retake on the point. And like we mentioned earlier, they are basically in one-fight territory now.
But everything used on the side of the Guangzhou charge. Shadowburn with the rally is going to give them a decisive advantage, not to mention Cruz's sound barrier. Paris, they should be able to retake this one unless Guangzhou can get a miracle pickoff here on the approach.
You got to get a really good flashbang, I think is what you need. Happy needs to stun some people. Here we go. Cloudy jumps in, but he's got the Zarya shield. He can't be stunned. And they're just going to take it right back again. Wow, Charge just muscled right off the point. And now Cloudy with the Primal Rage. Can he just keep them zoned? He's going to just kill Eileen. Why not? Gets stunned, but that's okay because he knocks away Happy in the process. Paris Eternal getting to fight that 65. Rio on his own, not going to live. As he falls down into the pit, that Coalescence from Shu is not going to do a whole lot. Happy with the Deadeye. Can he get anybody? No, not quite. Soon, though, all charged up on that Zarya. 99% for both players now. And it really looks like Paris Eternal is going to be taking this map, overtime ticking away. And I don't think there's too much Guangzhou charge can do to prevent that. Rio's back on the wrecking ball now, but that's going to be about it. Paris Eternal, 2-0 on Oasis.
Well, who would have thought, Doa? Paris struggles in 3-3. They changed out a few players. Shadowburn's and Brigida now. Cloudy's tanking. Gray's on the Zen. And look at that, 2-0 over Guangzhou.
They look really good, man. They looked really tight on that map. We'll see if they can keep it up when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Well, I guess throw out everything we talked about in the pregame because Paris Eternal looked very good actually on Oasis. Winning that map 2-0, taking the lead in the series. What happened, man?
I think part of it was a mind game, especially on that first point. Obviously, given the history of Shadowburn, especially on Oasis, because remember, Philly used to play as Pharah on Oasis quite frequently. So if you are Guangzhou and you see that starting roster, you definitely don't expect what Paris did. But they also made a lot of adjustments. We're seeing a lot of players that we haven't seen before from Paris today, and it seems like these players are hungry and they are ready to play, and the execution on some of these compositions, especially the 3-3, has been a lot better.
Yeah, Cloudy looked good, and also his team did a really good job of protecting him for the most part in that series too. But you know, there's this part of my mind that just kind of thinks back to the beginning of Stage 1 as we look at Cloudy there on your screen right now, and you know, it makes me think, you know, Paris, they looked really good in their first two matches of Stage 1, and then after that, things kind of started to go downhill. So, yes, they look very good in this first map, but I'm not boarding the hype train yet. I'm going to stand on the platform for a bit longer and kind of observe, you know? I'm like, okay.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't advise boarding hype trains after one map of any team at any point whatsoever. You have to be a conservative hype train boarder, right?
I agree.
You want to make sure that the hype train is going to Hypeville.
That's true.
Which almost always it doesn't.
It might be going off a bridge that just ends, you know?
Yeah, you might end up like the start of Dorado, or Route 66, excuse me, where the hype train is derailed, it's all the boxcars, they're crashed everywhere.
That's true. You don't want to be on that train. That's right.
The Route 66 hype train, that was Paris' last stage, so.
Yep. Well, Soon's Zarya stats, let's take a look at him here. Average energy, pretty good at 61%. Not too bad, and of course, this was one of the two players, him and Shadowburn, that they were kind of trying out on the Zarya in stage number 1. It was up and down throughout the stage, but
no, it was down. Okay. I mean, I love you, Soon, but you were a bad Zarya last stage, and I love you, Shadowburn.
They had a very good first match.
But you were also a bad Zarya last stage.
The hype train derailed, is what Monty's trying to say.
I do hope that some of these Zarya issues in terms of their damage output and ability to get final blows, which honestly is also a team-wide issue when you're playing 3-3. It's very hard a lot of the time to pinpoint problems or say this player was the problem. Soon was the problem though, but also his team contributed to it. For
Hashtag Soon was the problem. Thanks.
Hey, look, I think Soon is a fantastic player. I loved watching his Tracer play last year. I think he's so intelligent about the way he plays objectives on the Tracer that I would love to see a return to form from Soon. But
looks like they're 3D mapping him or something. That camera rig. It looks like they're going to make like a little Soon action figure or something, you know?
Would you buy a Soon action figure?
I don't know. I'd buy like a Jonak action figure, I guess. Maybe.
Okay.
I would be like, oh, look, I'm such a good Zenyatta player. I'm the Grandmasters. And then like a tear would go down my face.
Why? You love Jonak.
I know, but it's him. It's not me.
Oh,
I'll never be that Grandmaster. On that note, we've got some substitutions. Kim is coming in on Guangzhou charge, summon in for Eileen.
See, you and I have very different goals to us.
I've given up.
You have a single tier for you never being that guy. I'm just here. I'm just happy that I'm me sitting in judgment of players that are far better than I am, right? That's the dream.
It is the easier position to be in, that's for sure. And Danya coming in for Shadowburn on the Paris Eternal side of things. So the surprises continue from the Paris side.
Yeah, and I was talking to Sideshow about Danya earlier today, and he was waxing poetic about his Widowmaker. So I'm excited to see Danya, who is a player new to the the stage here for the Paris Eternal, and it should be fun.
What about Soon's Widowmaker though?
I was never too hype on that, honestly.
All right. Well, what about his Tracer then?
Very hype.
There you go.
I love his Tracer.
Maybe we'll get a chance to see Soon's Tracer later. We've seen a lot of Tracer today, actually. You know, one of the things that I'm probably most surprised about by our first few matches here in Stage 2 is just how willing the team seemed to be to just try a lot of these compositions that we haven't seen in a while, or just kind of something new. I thought it would take a little bit more time for teams to sort of kind of get out of the 3-3 mindset, but it seems like people are eager to try something new. Can't blame them.
Yeah, it's not only that either. I think it's just the wide number of patch changes. And also you have to understand that many teams had a very limited time to practice on the new patch.
Yeah.
Unless you're the LA Gladiators, in which you didn't play Week 5 and you didn't play playoffs. So the Gladiators are going to be, leading the meta charge, I think.
Or you're the Dallas Fuel, too, where you've got this entire week as well to practice. You don't play until next week. But we are going to Paris, Monty. Are you excited?
I love Paris, so yes.
Me too. This is a interesting, I like the real city Paris. I'm still deciding on the Overwatch map, Paris. It is a neat map. it's very different as far as assault maps go. It's even more attacker-centric, it seems, from initial impressions than some of our other ones. As you can see, point A, there are a lot of space to boot people off into oblivion. And then point B, you know, you have these long sight lines. You have a lot of kind of difficulty from what we've heard from pros and coaches around the league to defend this one.
Yeah, you also have immediate high ground access on a flank as an attacker. So,
yeah.
I mean, I love attacker favorite assault maps. I always want assault maps to go 6 to 5. That's my jam. I am the biggest fanboy of heavily favored attacker favored assaults. So
Indeed.
I'm excited to see Paris and more as the season progresses.
So the scout from Cloudy, kind of checking things out a little bit here. Guangzhou Charge going for the Winston 3-3, adding in the Ana as well. Shu on that one. Gray on the Ana for Paris Eternal. One of the heroes he became famous with the World Cup a few years ago during his big performance. And Charge exiting the point completely. They're going to have to try to find a way to get back on here and knock Paris off. There we go. Fire a grenade in.
And so now we get to see Paris actually running the multi-DPS composition that we thought they might on Oasis. So already the mind games are very real.
Yeah, but not Shadowburn on the far end. It's Danya instead. Finzi over on the Soldier 76 here. Nano Boost was used, meanwhile, onto Rio on that Winston. They've taken a lot of damage here. Rio has to back away. Going back in now. He didn't really get any boops that you would normally look for on defense with that Winston. You gotta watch out for Zoom's EMP. There it is. It's a few people. Hits 4 on Guangzhou Charge. They need that follow-up. Minefield was laid, meanwhile, to prevent Charge from getting back onto the point faster. Danye, ooh, that barrage.
That EMP was not the most effective, and neither was the minefield, because the tanks were still able to contest the point throughout all of that.
Yep. You gotta get on there. Here we go, there's Nano Boost. Ooh, he has to turn away from the Diva. Still gets 2 kills in the end. Great reflexes from Danya to not be taken out by Hotba as he flied up and tried to deny the barrage. That's going to be point A taken by Paris.
That will be great patience from the Paris Eternals. So
yeah.
A couple minutes off the clock, but they will come back with 6 minutes now on their attack of B.
B's a little bit tricky to do with the Pharah because you do need to come through this doorway. You can't go over the roofs like you can on some other maps. But he gets in there anyway, man. He's not done yet. Soon uses that EMP, doesn't hit a whole lot. Hits maybe 3, I think, again with that. Guangzhou Charge still forced to play a little bit passively here, but this is what we're talking about. It is tough on the defender sometimes, but Paris are falling back here.
Yeah, Danya nearly up now at another barrage, but a little bit dangerous to walk forward. Rio has the Primal Rage available too. He's going to jump right in.
All right, Nano Boost used. Guangzhou Charge getting aggressive here. It's going to be Cloudy trying to use that minefield. Happy though, not having any of it. He can just kind of walk through that with his shield when he feels like it later on. Yeah, they're using that shield with Zarya to clear out some of it. Danya finishes himself off as he kills Kip with that barrage, but I think we're going to see some swap from Paris here.
Yeah, that was just an opportunity to swap, as it were. Danya is going to moving over to the Brigida. Soon will be on the Zarya. So Danya, another new Brigida player for the Paris Eternal.
All right. Great.
Paris is just minting out Brigida players during the stage break.
That's right. Making them handcrafted. Artisan Brigidas.
We'll see about that.
Oh, Paris trying to find a way in. Ooh, but Danya, the first to fall, happy. Gets him with the uppercut. Now turning around, still has that grab. He's been able to save it for so long, and he's going to keep saving it now. This fight's already over.
Yeah, good push out right there, using the Primal Rage aggressively to prevent Paris from eco-pushing. Because remember, Paris, they had to reset their entire ult economy to do this. So if you get good value, also Rio onto the Reinhardt now, man, that's really good compositional timing for the Guangzhou. Value they got out of that was pretty crazy. Use Primal, switch over to Reinhardt anyway. Cloudy also making the Reinhardt swap at the same time.
Yep, as you would expect to see here on B. Charge dropping down now with the rally, just going aggressive onto Paris Eternal, buying more time. Speaking of time, Paris Eternal has nearly 4 minutes in the clock yet, so they can still afford to play this a bit slowly.
I mean, Guangzhou has already taken 2 minutes off on the defense, though, so they're not doing too poorly, all things considered.
Yep.
Given that we do think this will be attacker favored as a whole.
Yeah, that's what teams are saying. And We didn't see it earlier today between Philly and New York. There's a grab used. Self-destruct coming in now. Rio gets the charge and sets up the double kill for Hotba. Guangzhou charge gonna be able to win this fight, but going back to the point we were just talking about, you and I got to sit in on some scrims, talk to some coaches and players, and a lot of people saying this is a very attacker-favored map, and you can see why, but we might actually see two holds here.
Yeah, might be. Still a while to go yet. We'll take a look at Char right here with a nice boop out of the Graviton Surge to set up the kills there. Very well done.
Yep.
Great timing with Hotba.
A good charge onto the Reinhardt as well. Deny any sort of shield. Guangzhou charge, defending a little bit more aggressively now.
I mean, defending the choke here, obviously
Yep.
a little bit more ideal. Rio gonna be fine in terms of HP. Actually, the tank line getting chunked out is gonna throw a Earth Shatter into a barrier.
Crew's really going for those boots there. He's known for that. They're gonna have to pop the Transcendence. Now the Shatter comes in from Cloudy, knocked down Hotba, but they didn't get the kill on that. But Rio in trouble already, gets charged, and now the grab comes in from Guangzhou. Can they get any kills out of this? No, it's gonna be Finzi that gets the double on his self-destruct, and Paris Eternal just rolling on to point B now.
Yeah, they're gonna start taking it as well. Can Rio get there? Is booped up? No, the Wrecking Ball will not reach the target of the control point.
A pretty good denial there at the end by Paris, keeping charge off of that, just taking it after the clean team fight win. 2:14 left in the clock for them. They get the job done on Paris. We're gonna take a quick break, and then Charge has a turn to attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Well, Paris Eternal on Paris, the Overwatch Assault map, got the job done on attack with a bit of time in the time bank. 2:14, not too bad. Now they have to defending the home turf against Guangzhou Charge. This is as close as we're going to come to a home game, really, until next year, I suppose. But
Yeah. I mean, it is fun to have that little bit of a storyline coming in. And
Yeah.
I got another cool story for you.
you got to take ownership over maps like this, you know?
Well, Finzi and Cruz have yet to die on this map.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So this is, I think, pretty excellent for Cruz, who sometimes went in very aggressively.
Those people in the hot air balloons, so like floating over point B, and they're like, nope, not going to go down there.
Not into the war zone, as it were. Paris Eternal running a bunker composition,
Yeah.
except with Soon on a Sombra. Happy waiting to see if he's going to need to switch off. And they are going to make some large changes here. Hello, that is a very weird attack composition. They are going to outbuffer the bunker.
Here we go.
They're playing double barrier with the Reinhardt. They're just going to stand there and melt the Orisa barrier with 2 barriers to defend themselves.
So the great thing with this, too, is that even if you have somebody diving onto your Bastion, you've got the invulnerability field to keep them alive a little bit more. So as soon as this shield lands, that's going to be the go button. Here it is. Oh, I love this.
He got hacked.
Oh, he got hacked though. Soon
So,
got behind them.
Yep, they didn't know Soon, I think, was on the Sombra.
Yep.
So really, they have Hotba, though, to spin around and decloak
Yeah.
the Sombra, so they should be able to do this.
You still have the shield advantage.
They're looking for this Sombra. There we go.
You gotta keep your Bastion alive. You gotta keep him not hacked. It's tough. They broke the shields here. Danye in trouble. They're gonna kill Cruz's invulnerability.
Yeah. This will displace them off the high ground. They have an
There you
invulnerability field of their own now.
The invuln field can be killed. You can take out the little flying Oreo cookie thing. Kib's got his own already. Oh, he's down though. Danya gets a kill on the Bastion.
They were trying
Got
to
the wall up first.
rotate out of the damage amplification matrix, but to get their own down on the flank, but they couldn't do it, but they got one now.
Got the res. There's the wall. Okay, they're firing through it here, but Happy already down. It's a wacky game, but so far so good for Paris Eternal.
Yeah, that was actually very close, because obviously if Kim hadn't been killed on the rotation, they would have gotten the amplification matrix down on the flank and then been in very good position.
So what do you do as Guangzhou charge now? Do you just keep going with this? Looks like that's their plan for now, but I don't know. When do you make the change?
So the problem for Guangzhou is that they're running, you know, they have a Mercy ultimate available to them.
boy.
Soon is going to come in with an EMP though. He's waiting. He's looking. He's
What's
juking.
gonna happen here? All right, there's the EMP. All the shields out of the way. Oh, and that's a nice halt to bring people back into the line of fire.
Yeah, you also wasted the Valkyrie as well for
Yeah.
Chara. So they were trying to use that chain healing to get through the choke point, but when all the barriers go down, it's just too much damage. Now Cruz returning.
Yeah, and a little extra bonus for Sombra too. You hack those health packs twice as fast as everything else now.
All right, try and get through this choke point again. How's this going to work? Remember, they don't have any healing ultimates available to them.
Yeah.
Gray has trance.
Wow, and they've even got the supercharger now on the Paris side as well. Invuln field used for Guangzhou charge, trying to stay alive, but it's not going to help out. Happy down already. Paris Eternal refuses to be dislodged. I like Cruz kind of putting the invuln field a little bit around the corner there too, making it harder to shoot. You can see they kind of bumped their composition slightly to the left, so you can put the invuln field in the doorway there.
I mean, this is getting pretty disastrous for Guangzhou because
Yeah.
they keep getting picked off like that.
Yep. I don't think this one's going to end very well for the charge. They need to get a win, and they need it now. And the invuln field has been used. That's a long cooldown that they're not going to have for their next attack, and they need it.
Okay, so they have Supercharger now, which means that they will have a significantly higher damage output and 2 barriers with the Reinhardt. This has got to be the play that works. Soon, they got to do it before Soon gets EMP as well.
I was going to say, yeah, it's now or never. Soon has the EMP.
Uh-oh, well, it's too late.
You can get found.
They force the translocator, so now they can come through the choke point. Uh-oh.
He's going to get EMP though. There we go. Vinci throws the self-destruct in there, finds Kib, who is separated from his team. Now Shu just walking forward, takes a cannonball to the face. Chara res is happy, but I think it's too little too late. One of the most entertaining rounds I think I've seen in a while. Hotba goes and pops that self-destruct. Down here, picks him out of the air. It's skeet shooting now, and nobody even touches the payload for Guangzhou charge. Paris Eternal with a 2-0 lead going into the half.
And a full hold. We haven't seen Typebag on Paris
All
yet,
right, all right.
surprisingly.
So, you know, forget all that attacker favorite stuff here too. Oh, whatever.
Well,
Thanks a lot, coaches of the league.
I think Guangzhou had an interesting idea, but it wasn't very well executed.
That's right. Quick break, and then we come back with halftime. Don't miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
everything seems to be going right for the Paris Eternals so far. In this one, they're having no problems handling the charge, up 2-0 at the half. Welcome back, everybody. Malik here with Brent and Sideshow. Guys, Paris Eternal look like they're returning to old form so far with a dominant first half all the way through, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not really fair though, is it? You know,
they got the home field
advantage.
The home field advantage
Just stole my joke.
For some reason, I knew that one was coming.
Exactly. You shouldn't have been allowed it. You know, you don't get any points for that. It was too obvious.
Unbelievable.
All right, so let's talk about some of the standout stuff. Starting with Oasis, a little bit of a closer bout between these two teams.
Yeah.
Charge looked like they were going to. I was expecting a little bit more variety from them, but what do you guys think overall?
A very impressive Paris. Honestly, I think that they've made significant steps up.
Yes.
They seem to be utilizing all the pieces of their roster quite effectively as well coming into this. I mean, they said it themselves. This should be their meta game. Fincy was talking a big game in your Twitch chat the other night, wasn't he?
He really was. Cruz, just as I was walking on here to come on the halftime, Cruz passed me and he was like, "This is not our meta, not our meta." Get out of here, Cruz.
I heard him. I actually heard him do that.
I know.
So what were some of? Let's talk about the other team. Let's talk about the Charge. What were some of the, I guess, the shining moments for them in that first half?
Has to be happy, I think, is one of the talking points realistically, because he was, again, he's one of these star players he's picked up. He's got a phenomenal set of heroes in particular. He's doing relatively well on anything that really requires aim. I mean, his Widowmaker is what he really became known well known for, I should say. But he whipped out the McCree in this game, and he was one of the shining spots for Guangzhou.
Oh, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out in their favor with the entire map.
Right, but I think the issue there is not so much the individual performance, but how they were utilizing the ultimates. That was my big issue with that one, because the way that they'd set up, they had a fight that they absolutely needed to win, and just beefed a couple of their ults, and the Diva and the Zarya from Paris managed to sync up a great combo on them, and they end up losing it. And that's, at the end of the day, you've got to win those fights when all the ults are on the board.
Right. Every fight counts. All those fights count. Now, on the other side, two faces that we haven't seen much for the Paris Eternal. We had Gray and Cloudy who were in the lineup. How did they perform in you guys' opinion?
Pretty average, honestly.
Yeah?
I'd say.
Pretty average?
Okay.
I'd be
You want to pick him up a little bit more?
Yeah, I know. I really think Cloudy's been a great performer on Winston so far. And
Okay, you're just trying to run with your best EU main tank narrative.
No. Listen, I think Cloudy and Gray have actually been performing pretty well so far. And I think the reason that they've got Gray in is he's a bit more flexible, perhaps, than Heap.
Yeah.
We saw him play the Ana a little bit, and he looked good on the Ana. He had some great performances
Got a good
there.
Sombra on him
Some
as well.
Sleeps.
I mean, we didn't see it here, but
you're probably not going to see it. But
yeah.
I think these two are good additions. And what I'm impressed about with Paris is actually that they've rotated a bunch of different people in.
Yes.
We saw Shadowburn, and then we saw Danye, and we've seen Gray come in, and we've seen Cloudy as well. So this is a team that, even after their disappointment in stage 1, has now found not just one roster, but a bunch of different looks for them.
Right.
That's impressive.
I will say I've been very excited to see Danye on the stage a little more. He was one of my favorite players during Overwatch World Cup, seeing him do his thing for Team Poland, and now he's here in Overwatch League. And man, I'm glad to see him getting the playtime. He was a decent Bastion. That little bunker comp they ran there was pretty awesome.
I don't know whether to love it or hate it.
I know.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
That was that match. If every Overwatch League game ended up like that with a Bastion or
On
Orisa
both sides,
mirror match, I think I would quit by the end of the week.
That's the new meta.
When I was watching that, I was like, we were sat in the back line, in the back rooms, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is so cool! It's not triple tank, triple supports." And I was like, "This is terrible!" Like they're just spamming each other in choke points.
Kind of reminds me of the beta days when Bastion had a shield.
I do love though that it's like a niche strategy that you can run on certain maps, and the fact that Paris is more open gives it a different dynamic to a bunch of the different maps.
Right.
So the map pool itself can create variance in strategy, which is awesome to see.
Right. All right. So right now the Guangzhou Charge, they're down 0-2, and it looks like the Paris Eternal have pretty much had their number, even down to that last strat when they tried to run the bunker comp and they had the Sombra ready. So what can the Charge do to kind of mix things up and confuse Paris? Is there anything they can do at this point?
I mean, for one thing, I would say for Guangzhou, I think they should stick to the triple tank, triple support that they play pretty well. It seems like, again, I've said this for Philadelphia Fusion, when they opt into, I don't want to use the word clown fiesta, it's a bit rude, but when you opt into the damage dealing compositions, when you're maybe not as accustomed to, I mean, there's no reason you can't win. New York Excel proved that you can stick to what you're comfortable with the triple tank, triple supports, and you can still actually overcome a lot of the compositions. Now, not saying run it into the Bastion comp, that's a bit nonsense,
that isn't a good
but
idea.
at the end of the day, they do have the fundamentals there. I consider them to be one of the best triple tank, triple supports teams, at least compared to a lot of the teams.
Yeah,
in the
they're
league.
very good.
So, yeah, I would definitely say stick to their fundamentals in that regard. Josh, you're looking quite perplexed. Hit me with your knowledge. Come on.
No, I'm just
Put you on the spot.
The map pool in the first half wasn't great for the Charge as well. This is places that Paris are very comfortable with. So moving forward, the second half is a new half. They just got to treat this like a clean sweep. And I know because I was talking to some of the Paris people, they're very confident, perhaps even a little too confident. So we'll see if it bites them.
All right, well, we're going to find out if Guangzhou can bring it back right after the break. Stay tuned, guys.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Well, Paris Eternal up 2-0 over the Guangzhou Charge. Not a result a lot of us were expecting, but it certainly has been interesting. Paris got a little bit weird. I'm not talking about the team now, I'm talking about the map. This is going to get confusing later in the season. Realize that now.
We'll just call him Eternal.
Eternal.
There you go.
Things got a little bit weird for Eternal on Paris. Guangzhou as well, we kind of saw the Bastion comms colliding, which involves a lot of looking at each other and shooting with one hero at the other one. But in the end, it really was Soon on that Sombra that kind of made the difference.
Yeah, also just like kind of poor invulnerability field usage by the Guangzhou Charge in opportune times.
He's a new hero, I suppose.
Yeah, not respecting the Sombra, but Soon also doing a lot of work on the Sombra. And speaking of Sombra players, it will be Eileen coming back in for Kib.
Indeed. So a sub on the Guangzhou side, and Shadowburn coming back in for Paris, subbing in for Danya, who played quite well, I would say, on Paris.
Legendary Brigida player, Shadowburn.
That's right. Yep. Legendary Brigida, you know, known mostly for that. A little bit Genji, a little bit far, but mostly Brigida.
Mostly Brigida.
Mostly Brigida.
As of stage 2.
Just like Prophet, yeah. Known mostly for his Brigida Zarya. We're going to Eichenwald. It's going to be our hybrid map in this series versus Guangzhou Charge. And unless Guangzhou Charge can get something rolling, we are going to see Paris in a quick match here. Should be a surprising result, but very cool to see from the Eternal. We did see a reverse sweep already today.
We did. Something tells me this one may not be, however, given the caliber of Paris' play. And now it seems as though, tentatively, that we are likely to see something more along the lines of a Shadowburn Soon hero composition that we could have expected coming into map 1 but didn't materialize.
Right.
Guangzhou Charge Hotba will be on the Pharah on a triple DPS defense with Rio.
Cool.
on the ball.
I like this meta. I'm already a fan of this meta. Finzi with the last moment swap over to Soldier 76 as well. They've got quad DPS on the Eternal side. Gray gonna swap though, of course, just trying to take a shot on that Widowmaker before going back over to the Ana. Eileen taking some hits before he translocates away. And Paris on the move.
That they are. So they will also be heading up that triple DPS composition. So
yeah,
mirror comps for both these teams, but that is a huge kill of Gray onto Chara.
No kidding. I mean, the thing is if you take 3 hits from Ana, that's gonna kill you. Cannot allow that to happen. Soon does get Eileen. Paris Eternal starting to grab a couple kills here. Shadowburn trying to help cap the point here. That's great. Just knocking out Hotba with the biotic grenade in the end, and that's a very fast point A take by Paris.
Yes, it is. That is going to be quite quick, and you just can't lose your Mercy that quickly.
Yeah.
No more res, no more healing up for the far in the sky easily. As the shoes Ana is going to be split, and even then soon.
What?
Okay.
Hotba's having a hard time with this far. He does get res.
Oh my.
Happy down as well. Shadowburn just all over these guys. Man, Paris Eternal doing the right thing and going way far forward on Guangzhou charge. They are going to get so much distance on this payload.
Yeah, they are. And because of that first fight too, they have a big ultimate advantage. Rio. He's the sneakiest. He's the sneakiest Paul.
The pipe fell over.
Looking around the corner.
Here we go. Apagando las luces. Oh, it leads down. Cloudy gets it. Finzi in trouble as well. Hotba finds one. Shadowburn going back to help. No, he's not. He's just going to do some more shots. You don't want to get hit by the sleep dart over the bottomless pit. Got to be careful as Shadowburn in that situation.
Rio.
Rio down again, though.
Yeah, isolated on the flank with a sleep dart, trying to delay the payload. But this has just been disastrous for the Guangzhou charge.
I mean, they are just looking completely frazzled at this point.
Heroes never die.
All right, well, it's going to be the Mercy ult from Cruz as Paris tries to cruise their way towards the end of point B. All right, Happy coming out with some beautiful tracking. That's right, it's time. Gets a couple with that tactical visor charge. Striking back now, Finzi uses his own Soldier 76 ultimate. And now Rio backs away. Okay, so Paris Eternal finally having to give some distance back to the charge.
I mean, they got so much free payload movement, though. This whole map has been free payload movement and free point captures for the Paris Eternal.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Guangzhou is committed to using this DPS defense.
Whoa, nice shot from Shadowburn.
Oh,
damage off the wall, gets Char the way out. And a punt. What?
A quad for Shadowburn.
He's back.
He is back, and this is what Guangzhou should have been expecting. So you think, all right, now that they're actually running it, what is their plan? And their plan is to get quad killed by Shadowburn's Mara.
That is not a good plan. Soon does take out Eileen. That's the second time he's EMP'd and immediately died. All right, Shu finally finishes off Shadowburn, but guess what? Point B has been taken.
I mean, there is no backup there for that EMP. Guangzhou.
Yeah.
They're just playing awful right now.
I've never seen Guangzhou as scattered, as like poorly organized as I have in this map.
Yeah.
And in this series in general.
They've just been picked off one by one, ruining their own ult economy. They just don't seem to be communicating very well.
All right, Soon coming in. Excuse me, nearly has that EMP again. He's got it now, uses it. Charge in even more trouble already. That was like a 6-man EMP right there. Paris Eternal, no trouble at all finishing him off. And this has been a devastatingly fast map.
Holy moly. This is just so ridiculously one-sided.
Yeah. Going for the record, man. Can they even get there? They can, just barely. Eileen touches. Atba on the payload as well. Now they need to finish everybody else off here. Rio does get hacked. Can they finish him? Invuln field comes down. Gonna get taken out quickly, but they do get Cruz. So the 6v5 in favor of the charge at the moment. Stun on Cloudy, waiting for it. He's nearly got that Earth Shatter. There goes Shadowburn, though. So Paris slowly hemorrhaging players here. They need to back off.
Yeah, that was a weird overcommitment with the nano boost.
Yeah.
To that scenario. Guangzhou.
Maybe you swap, though. Maybe here's where Gray switches over to the Zenyatta.
We will see.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the Zen swap.
Yep.
As you say. Not a lot of healing, though, for the Paris Eternal. That's the downside of this, is that you're also running the Sombra, and it's not a Baptiste or a Brigitte. your healing's very low, so they're going to have to play for this EMP. They
Right.
can't win a straight-up fight without EMP.
Well, they've got plenty of time. Still 3 minutes left here. Char's going to go ahead and use the amp field, amp matrix. Takes a bit of damage, and again, Paris just backs away. It's going to take a while for teams to get good at using this Batiste ultimate.
All right, here we go. Soon's got the EMP now. This is what they were waiting for.
Yep, that is correct. All right, Shatter comes down. Eileen, laid low. Shu comes in with the Transcendence. There's the EMP not used yet. Oh boy, Soon, he tried. He tried. At least he didn't get killed during the animation. That's what I'm gonna say there.
I mean, he jumped into a graviton, so.
Well, you know, maybe it just, he's very small. He's easily affected by its power.
I mean, I enjoyed
Power
him.
of gravity, Monty.
I enjoyed him floating there helplessly. All right, so here we go again. That was a very long push from Paris to get the EMP,
Yep.
to use their own graviton, and then to ridiculously fail.
2 minutes remaining. Self-destruct used by Hotba. Happy down though. Paris Eternal striking back. Got the 6v5 now. Gonna push in.
I mean, they have to win this. They have no trance. They have no EMP.
Yeah, there goes Shu. Lucy ultimate used by Paris. Cruz give them the extra shields. They're getting the kills now. Onto Hotba. Rio and Happy trying to get what they can done with the damage they have. Rio down though. It looks like that might be it. Ooh, Paris has to get a couple more kills here, but here Happy can't even jump on the payload. That's it. Paris Eternal finishes Eichenwald. Good amount of time left in the time bank too. I believe they had over a minute, which on Eichenwald, I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, they knew their win condition, had to play around the EMP on the trance because that was a very limited amount of AoE healing that they had to win the fight and disable their opponents. They end up doing it.
Quick break, and when we come back, Charge goes on the attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to Eichenwald. Paris Eternal finishing their attack with 1:38 in the clock. Now, it is time for Guangzhou Charge to try their luck at finishing this map perhaps a bit faster, perhaps not at all, the way that Paris has been playing today. Guangzhou Charge in a lot of trouble. Didn't think I'd be saying that.
I
got
also
the studio
didn't
today.
think you'd be saying that, or that I would be thinking it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one thing to think it. It's another thing to say it.
You've committed to it, though.
That's right.
I'll also commit to it. I did not think that we'd see Paris Eternal in this situation, but they have proved us wrong, and now
Good for them. Yeah.
they are going to be playing the same defense.
That was a close one.
All right, we should see a swap out. Happy should be swapping off right now.
Yep. Onto the Soldier 76, of course. I mean, you still have to have something that deals with that Pharah to a certain extent.
He's
You want to
gonna
at least
switch
put
again.
a bit of pressure. You think so? Oh.
Now he's onto the Widow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Eileen
Meanwhile-
just killed Gray.
Meanwhile, Eileen finds a big pick, yeah.
It looked like there was a biotic grenade that hit a clustered group of players, and that's what triggered Eileen to go in and just take out Gray. Gray quickly resurrected, however.
Yep. All right. You can see Cloudy kind of coming out and showing his face to Happy to try to draw that fire. Covered Soon's ability to jump over to the other building without having to deal with a fully charged up Widowmaker shot. Nice little play there. Cloudy hit with the biotic grenade, but Hotbug gets the kill onto Shadowburn. Paris Eternal's attack falling apart a little bit here. Gonna have to go back and regroup perhaps. Eileen translocates out in time. You know, that said, Guangzhou charge getting some time on the point now. Hotbug got the environmental kill on the Cloudy, it looks like, too. Whoa.
Yeah, 6 versus 4 on the point right now for the Guangzhou charge, and they are starting to get that control percent up.
Yep. All right, Happy.
No one can hide from his sight.
Nope. That's okay. I don't think Gray wants to. He's just going to hop off anyway.
Gray got knocked off there by Rio.
Yeah, I probably didn't want to reset just yet, but it's going to be fairly soon. Now it's tactical visor time. Soon walking in, get the auto aim, but Hoppa. Who needs auto aim when you got a million billion rockets, right?
And also a nano boost.
That helps too.
And here we go.
Double kill with it. Now the triple onto Finzi, and that is going to be charged. Getting the payload moving.
And a big comp swap, of course, from the Paris Eternal. Who likes Winston 3-3? Paris Eternal does, even though they tried to play through that round here with the triple DPS, and that is exactly what Guangzhou are going to do. They decide they don't want to mirror it on point B defense.
Right. Paris getting aggressive now. Gonna give Hoppa a good opportunity to fire down on high onto Shadowburn. Eileen with the finishing blow there. Transcendence from Gray, not able to save his teammates. Cloudy does get Shu, but charge overall is gonna come out ahead here. There's a minefield now. Paris Eternal has to back away. Cruz finds a mine, and not in the way you want to. Goodbye soon. And charge should start to get a little bit of distance going on this payload now.
They're going to finally get there, but honestly, a nice stall from the Paris Eternal. Guangzhou had a pretty quick point A cap, but they're not going to be moving through B all too quickly. Soon now going to be moving over to the McCree. And so Eileen will have to be a little bit more cautious when it comes to some of his flanking routes, and Gray has to be over on the Ana.
Oh, here we go, Gray. He's going to be moving over to the Afterlife. It said Hotba, Justice trying to rain from a 90-degree angle, but that doesn't work out. Gets one. Actually, it does. His team with the follow-up. He even gets rezzed.
Yeah.
So charge in a perfectly fine situation here. Oh, stopped. Whoa.
I liked Rio's diva brutality there.
Gonna have to dig Finzi out of the ground like a pirate treasure chest at this point.
Just slammed in there like a fence post.
That's right. Ouch. Brutal. Guangzhou charge, ever closer to finishing point B. It's an aggressive move from Cloudy. He doesn't have a lot of health. Cloudy on his own. He's got that primal rage though. He's gonna go ahead and use it, trying to look for a few environmental kills, but he's gonna have to settle for Happy dying to self-destruct. That's why I was gonna finish that sentence all along.
That's right, just backhanding him straight into an exploding Diva mech. Guangzhou sitting on a pile of ultimates, however.
Eileen coming in with the EMP. Maybe looking for just an attack.
Well, he's looking at soon. I mean, he doesn't want to get in range of flashbang, so...
fire there, we got tag. Oh no, we got it with the sleep dart. He got out actually. That translocate delivering him to safety. Ooh, a lot of damage from that minefield.
Yeah, Rio thought though that the EMP was going to be activated.
Yeah.
So had it been, they wouldn't have escaped all that damage.
This close. Cloudy taking a nap up on the high ground. Finzi trying to save him. Meanwhile, Happy has a nano boost going in for the nano visor. Shadowburn down, looking for more. Cloudy a little bit low. Happy trying to finish him off. We got to be careful there. Ooh. Yeah, man, that Winston still does a lot of damage.
Luckily had the Mercy healing beam onto him. Hotba once again with a barrage. Not going to need it though.
We should mention too at some point that Soldier does do a little bit more damage per shot now. He did get a bit of a buff the last patch.
20 damage per bullet instead of 19.
Yeah.
So slight increase.
Well, with his fire rate, that does add up to quite a bit more damage over time.
Yes, it does. All right, payload through the gate. As we see, of course, Guangzhou swap to a Reinhardt 3-3. So what we expect from this point.
Yep.
Reinhardt always popular in the narrow hallways and sharp right angles.
It's
I can vault see.
It's lore appropriate.
It is.
Yeah. For this map. Paris Eternal holding strong in the payload for the moment.
Although it's weird that Reinhardt just like let his master rot on that chair for like decades.
I mean, he probably took him out of the armor. That's probably just the armor. I hope it's just the armor. I don't know.
What's the point of coming back here?
Ask Michael Chu, I guess, to pick up the armor, obviously. Ooh, nice sleep dart, actually. Wakes him up right away, but it was a nice sleep dart for a moment. All right, Paris trying to hold back the tide. Guangzhou Charge just spending some time building up some ultimates. Both teams just poking, positioning, gaining that ult percentage.
All right, Happy getting close to that Graviton Surge right now. Patient game from the Charge.
Yep. Happy has the grab now. Ooh, gets run over though soon. Gets the kill. Paris Eternal striking back. Killing Happy right as he got his Graviton Surge.
Yeah, great timing from the Paris Eternal to push their advantage. And they only commit a nano boost too, so massive win for Eternal, playing very well around this choke point.
Yeah.
And it's only a minute left, and if that time elapses, Paris Eternal will go ahead and win this series.
Even if the Guangzhou Charge finish point C now, they're going to do so with less time in the time bank than Paris Eternal. So no matter what, Paris has the edge in this map from here on out.
Definitely do.
A lot of ultimates too, 5 out of 6. Charge getting close as well. They've got 5 as well. Shatter, use. Nobody really knocked out by that one. Rallies on both teams to get that extra armor now. Oh, Cloudy. To avoid that one. Sound barrier used by Cruz, just in case. Ultimate slowly being bled out of both teams. There's the Graviton Surge from Charge. Gonna get a couple kills here, and now Paris Eternal, they got Happy, but that's all they got. Charge, able to push that payload farther.
That was a kind of strange defense for Eternal. They had to use a lot of ultimates because they didn't play the corner properly, and we saw Cloudy's barrier get very low because they weren't using it for cover.
Yeah. And that payload is really close now to finishing for Charge, but they only have 10 seconds remaining. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be the fight. Soon's grab needs to be huge here. They've got the combo with Binzi as well coming in. There's the sound barrier for Guangzhou Charge. Oh, Soon gets stunned, throws out the grab anyway. Here comes the self-destruct and it grabs Rio. That's one. Now Hotba responding with his. No kills out of that one though. And Cloudy turns around with another shatter of his own. Happy eliminated, and I think Paris Eternal has got this one right here, right now. They got to stay on the payload. You can see Charo is trying to maybe get a bit of a sneak there, but it's not going to work out. Overtime expires, and Paris Eternal will win this series 3-0 over Guangzhou Charge. One more map to go, but it's all Eternal.
Well, looks like what Cruz might have told Sideshow may be right. Maybe this is Paris' meta overall.
Could be, man.
Looking sharp today, that's for sure. We'll see if they can keep it up through the rest of the stage.
Well, starting things off with a 4-0 would be a crazy start for Paris. Let's see if they can get it done when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Well, guys, it's a new stage, it's a new meta, and that is just fine with Paris Eternal. They are up 3-0 over Guangzhou Charge. They have won the series, one more map to go. We say it all the time, but map 4s really do matter when it comes to those stage playoffs down the line, perhaps the overall playoffs. We saw it last stage. It's true.
Well, it also extra matters to Paris, right? Because remember, both of these teams were 3 and 4 coming in this one, into this game. But remember, the big difference was map differential. And Guangzhou Charge started this at -1. Paris started this at -8. So even though they had the same match record, the map differential was absolutely enormous. So Paris, if they want to start competing for even season playoff slots, they have to close that gap.
Yeah, they need to make up some ground, and getting 4-0 certainly helps with that. A 3-0 start is perfect for them, and I gotta say, they have looked really good. And the surprising thing to me is how they've done it in terms of mixing around their roster, playing like Danya, bringing in Cloudy. These are things that I don't think Charge was expecting. Gray as well, but all of these members, as they've kind of rotated through Paris Eternal today, have all looked really good in their roles.
Yeah. And even Shadowburn moving over to the Brigitte was a bit of a mind game. Obviously, in the future, many more teams will be prepared for Shadowburn within that position. But it does seem like the new coach, Fei may have solved a lot of these issues coming in, whether these changes were planned before Demon left and this was the result of that, or whether Fei, as part of his ascension into the head coach status, was the one to make these changes. We'll have to find out later on down the road. But it just seems like the pieces are fitting together a bit better, at least in this very early match in Stage 2 for the Paris Eternal.
Right. Let's take a look at our substitutions here. It's another one on the Guangzhou side. Kib back once again for map number 4, subbing in for Eileen.
Yeah, we'll see if we get to see any of Kib's Genji, historically the hero that he has been most known for, even though he was picked up as part of the British World Cup team that he basically exclusively played Brigitte for, so it's that hero that got him into the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
But it's not the hero that made his name before the Overwatch League.
Sure. Well, I mean, I feel like there's like what you played, and then there's what you played during the 3-3 meta for the most part, for any DPS players out there.
True.
It's like a past life at this point, for some of these guys.
I like how DPS players finally had to learn how to use cooldowns, though. That was exciting for me.
Wow, somebody seems kind of bitter about playing tank.
No, I love playing tank, but
right.
I like my DPS players to understand ability cooldowns. So
you're asking a little bit too much.
I know. They're all aim, no brain. What can you say?
That's right. It's a classic. Speaking of a classic, let's go to Junkertown. That's right. It's our escort map for this series, and it will be, I believe, Paris Eternal on the attack, trying to push that payload as far as they can, ideally to the end. The way things have been going, would not be surprised, but this has always been a more attacker-favored escort map, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, and this map in particular, especially Point A, has some of the longest sightlines in Overwatch, and it also is a map that, as you can see from our teams here, has been very focused on Orisa, Halt, and Roadhog hook combos. So the idea is you throw the Halt out, the hook comes in over the top, and you yank somebody over to you. Widowmaker, Hanzo, very, very good on Point A because of those long sight lines, and it's going to be up.
Whoa, Cloudy down immediately, right off the bat. So
it's okay.
Get res, no problem.
And Shadow. Oh,
hello.
Sorry, I'll get res too. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Hey, what were you saying about Soon's Widowmaker earlier?
Mercy, the mistake deleter.
That's true. We're back. Mercy's back, guys.
Well, you can't delete that mistake, though.
Res thyself. Physician, res thyself.
Yes.
You can't, huh?
You can't. No. You can't. And that was the Hulk coming in there for the Mercy. So Shadowburn here, this is what we call the pirate ship.
Yep.
The payload is full of booty. And there is the sail of the pirate ship right there with Orisa's barrier and, of course, the cannons, which is the bastion. So we're back to classic Junkertown strategies.
Ah, yes. But why, why mess with the classic, right? Cruise down. Classic gets messed with, I guess. There goes Rio, rather. Gray pops that invulnerability field. That might be enough to deliver them through the end of Point A. It is.
It's even it's a little bit better now too because Gray got a couple arrows in him, but it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So Gray has the invulnerability field to protect them should they start getting low. And here we go. Point A, relatively easily taken by the Paris Eternal. Guangzhou Charge sticking to their guns right now, or rather their bow and arrows, as Kib has the Dragon Strike up. And that does help clear people off the cart, so typical positioning right now for the Orisa and Bastion in the middle of the point at the bend of the U on the high ground.
All right, Soon goes ahead, uses that Widowmaker ultimate. Able to see people through walls for a little bit, getting chased down by Shu's Roadhog. Gotta be careful there. Oh. Ooh, close call. And the Hanzo versus Widow duel. Now Shadowburn's got his ultimate too. Configuration tank is all locked and loaded for Paris Eternal. So waiting for the shots. Okay. Shadowburn, they gotta try to heal him. Woo! They kept him alive. Thank you, Invulnerability Field. It barely lived. Yep. Shadowburn survived that. That's incredible, man. Kib gets a kill on Soon as well. Finzi self-destruct, zoning charge out a little bit. Getting that payload slightly more farther forward than it was. It did help Paris set up on that high ground too, with Shadowburn again.
Yep, just gonna go ahead and break through that barrier, waste some of the defense matrix from the Diva. Shadowburn in excellent position still, and has that configuration tank.
Charge trying to get
there. We go.
There's the tank time. Ooh, takes out Soon immediately, or Rio rather. Taken out by Kib, doesn't want to take out his own teammate. There we go, Chara down as well. Goodbye, Hadba. And that's going to be the pirate ship sailing its way through point B.
Guangzhou looks pretty flustered right now. They were running that single support, double sniper composition for a long time. Now Kib, we do get to see his Genji. Nope. Oh. Well, we almost saw his Genji. I saw it for 1 second in spawn, Noah.
I'm happy for you. Shadowburn gonna get jumped on here. Guangzhou Charge. Try to do it again. Vulnerability field is up, self-destruct comes in. Everybody lives through it, man. That invulnerability field was not touched. Guess what? You can hit people with anything you want. They are not going to die unless you kill the field.
Well, the problem is Guangzhou switched over to Whitsun 3-3, so it's a long time till they get ult. So what else can they do besides eco push, throw themselves onto the card? They're playing for the end here, but 4 minutes plus right now still remaining for the Eternal.
It was fast. Quite fast. Shadowburn nearly has another configuration tank built up. Soon gets his ult, uses it immediately. Paris knows everything as far as where Charge is.
Crazy Shadowburn right there, still in this Bastion. Rarely do you see it played this late into the map.
All right, Invuln field again. This is what a lot of people have been using Batiste for lately. That Invuln shield keeping their Bastion alive. There's the tank. It's tank time again. For those targets still hanging on the iron. Oh, Shu! That's a wrong doorway to come through. Rio! That's the wrong stairway to come down. Paris Eternal has been all over Guangzhou Charge. Kib down. Goodbye, Hotba's mech. Hotba soon to charge. There goes Chara. Wow.
Pirate ship's about to dock, Noah.
I was gonna say, they're coming in. Coming in for a landing. At the dock. That's it.
Don't understand how ships
I don't know. You do land a ship. Whatever. Shadowburn having, we're all having a great time here.
We are.
Shadowburn
having a giggle.
As long as we're not on Guangzhou Charge, we're having a great time.
So there was never a reason for Shadowburn to leave the Bastion. Obviously,
no.
When we've seen the Junkertown played by teams last year in the 2018 season, this was, you didn't switch off the Bastion unless they forced you to, because if you can't dive it properly, it continues to be effective because every point on this map has long sight lines that you can abuse.
Yep, true enough. The Bastion who lived.
All the way through the map. Finzi is, and Shadowburn actually didn't die at all on that attack round. 27 limbs to 5. in favor of the Paris Eternal.
That was just a great demonstration of how important it is to focus fire down the invuln field when it comes up if you can, because man, if you don't, you can live through anything. You can live through dragon strikes, you can live through self-destructs, you can literally just sit there as a turret and keep shooting.
Yeah, there have been a lot of weird question marks around Guangzhou Charge's play tonight. They look a lot less coordinated than we've seen them in the past. Could be just an off day.
Yep.
Could have not had a great read on the meta coming into this stage, there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a difference between the teams that, you know, don't innovate but master the meta later on in the stage, and those who are innovative but don't have the same skill ceiling at the meta later on.
That's the thing. So Paris Eternal on the defense, going for the Mei wall early on, just trying to separate the team as they step out. And this is a good way to handle the Bastion comp, actually. You just deny it from ever getting to the payload. Paris Eternal actually going for the full hold here on Junkertown. We're going ladder strats now.
I don't know if this is a good idea from Paris. They must be very confident.
Yeah, I'd agree.
There's a Happy is flanking around the backside right now. He's looking. Ooh.
I mean, if you can get a nice headshot onto the Mei, we'll see. Or a couple shots on the Cloudy there. Oh, Kib finishes him off. All right, that's something. Okay, well, this is starting to fall apart a little bit. Shadowburn. Ooh, does not duck and weave enough. And this defense starting to fall apart a little bit for Paris.
So the problem with the Mei is,
Goodbye.
it's great if you surprise them and you catch somebody on the exit, but if you're in that position, Guangzhou realizes instantly that Happy could just set up a crossfire, and there's nothing that they can do about that. Paris is, they are just paralyzed, and...
Was that a kind of a joke there?
No, I was confused by the invulnerability field that came down, considering the long cooldown on that ability.
Nobody will ever find him there. He's in the bushes on the edge of the cliff.
He's just popping up. He's like a gopher, a deadly gopher.
Deadly gopher. Well, what's a little rodent that lives on cliffs? Maybe he's one of those instead. I don't know. Here comes a wall. Kib getting that double damage, firing through the amplification matrix. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. You thought Bastion did enough damage? No. Let's double it. I feel like when Bastion is in turret form and he's firing, he should also just scream the entire time. Like, ah!
That sounds pretty annoying, though.
Sounds intimidating. Shadowburn down. Happy finds another one. Headshot onto Shadowburn.
Why is Shadowburn still on this Mei?
I don't know. Junkertown is a silly place. We know this. We know this from last year.
That's my question. Okay, finally Shadowburn decides that being Roadhog is probably the better play here. But he doesn't have the hull to remove people from behind the Orisa barrier.
All right, Coalescence, Paris Eternal. Going in aggressively, pushing back the rest of Charge. They have to give up that spot, but the payload's still moving.
Yeah,
so they've dislodged him from the high ground, but they haven't really stalled the payload yet.
No, they haven't. They used the Coalescence, but without any eliminations to show for it. Now they have to come back in without it.
Tank time. Oh, self-destruct time. Finzi gets killed by Kib's configuration tank. He gets stunned, taken out though. Oh, it's only a part left. What a humanity.
He really just destroyed himself right there.
Yeah.
Paris Eternal rushing in with their Graviton Surge. Lots of ults used, though, to maintain that defense. Will Kib swap? Be our question right now. Maybe not, considering Chara still has the amplification matrix available to him.
Yeah, if you can put a good one up there, that's a good chance. They're going to go in now with this. Okay, amp matrix down, trying to cut through that sound barrier. Shadowburn taken out. They're going to fire the whole hog through the amplification matrix, plus the Bastion.
Plus the supercharger.
Plus the supercharger. Well, that's some damage.
Well, Paris didn't have any ults, so their best choice was really to just run at them and see if they could get something done. But I mean, the sheer amount of damage from the amp matrix, the supercharger, the whole hog, and the Bastion is just absurd.
Just missing Mercy's ultimate there. Damage boost more people. All right, Guangzhou charge. We'll see how long they can stall here at the end of point B. Happy's in the back. And Kib, of course. Happy to be on the high ground behind the Orisa shield. See? Oh, Shadowburn, who barely escaped with his life there for the moment. He's nearly got the whole hog. They really need to keep this Roadhog alive. Tank time again for Kib. Going up high, getting a lot of damage in on that first shot there. Self-destruct. Cloudy gets another one. Kib going in for the follow-up. In Vaughn Field, though, down to keep Kib alive. And like you said, point B taken by Guangzhou Charge. They've got 3:40 on the clock going into C.
Yeah, Guangzhou looking better on this attack. Has been a bit silly from Paris, though, you have to say. And they are going to come in with a whole hog and a Graviton. Of course, a classic combo because you can hold people in place to deal maximum amount of damage with the whole hog.
No one can hide.
Headshot Happy looking for a few more picks here. See what he can get. Shadowburn down early.
He's been in a crossfire on the Paris Eternal this entire attack round so far, it seems like.
Yeah, that's right. Cloudy drops a shatter, but they don't seem to get a whole lot out of it.
They're just trying to delay the payload right now as much as they can. Coalescence is going to come through as they fight for control.
Pretty much. All right, there we go. I don't know if Bastion's really getting any benefit from that. Might be too far forward. Yeah, had to back up. There's the configuration tank now. Running through it. Cloudy down, looking for a bit more. There goes Gray. Paris did get a kill on the Happy, though, and Huffa's back.
Invulnerability field going to keep Kim alive for the time being, actually, but he has to get out of there and up onto that high ground.
The rest of his team having some trouble. Shu can't be kept alive as well. Meanwhile, that payload's still moving. Paris Eternal. They've bought enough time that they're going to have the better time bank no matter what.
I still am curious what the purpose of Shadowburn being on this Roadhog really is. Maybe just to put enough pressure onto the Orisa barrier to expose the Bastion.
I mean, they've got their own Orisa too, so they can pull people from behind the barrier. But it can be tough. There's a nice halt. Self-destruct coming in now from the Paris side. Finds Chars at Vault Field, but that's about it. Meanwhile, the payload.
To play Ring Around the Rosie.
That's right. Oh, we missed his hook. I mean, that's the thing. With only the Orisa shield, you do get some opportunities to throw out that hook from Roadhog. You need to be accurate with it.
Nice zone there.
Oh, yeah, Happy in a lot of trouble. Had to back away from the orb, and then easy finish for Finzi. There goes Kip. So Paris Eternal getting a bit of defensive stability now.
Yeah, powering through too with the Coalescence to heal them as they march towards the Guangzhou charge. Kip still on this Bastion.
Yeah, really dedicated to pushing the pirate ship, but now they're just pirates without their ship. They're landlubbers now.
I know, they don't even have access to their vast golden treasure on the payload.
You gotta make some swaps. It's a different type of combat. They're still gonna try to set up on the high ground, so it's kind of this mobile hardpoint idea right behind the Bastion.
Happy looking for a pick on the flank. It will be difficult for him to find an appropriate target, though.
Yep. All right, Chara. That's the Ant Matrix. There he is, throwing it down. Oh, Kim stunned, though. They couldn't get it up in time to stop the shatter, and Paris just runs charge right over.
D-Mech, though, onto Finzi.
The payload's moving, by the way.
Yeah, Shu still moving backwards.
Oh, yeah, it is moving backwards. Well, I said it was moving.
Shu is going to be picked off at the end of that, so a little bit of a delayed kill.
Now some changes.
Finally. Okay, now they are going to switch with 25 seconds left into a Reinhardt 3-3. Not sure now was the time to do that. Maybe a couple minutes ago.
I think now when you don't really have time to build up your ults, it's going to be tough to make this work, but see what they can do. Paris Eternal, one fight away from a 4-0 right now. Here we go, Coalescence used immediately. Shu down almost instantly. Rio taken out quickly too. That self-destruct did nothing for Hotba, and that's gonna be Paris Eternal. Now the payload's moving. Chara snuck back on the Lucio to try to do something, but that should be about it. Self-destruct used by Paris just to keep zoning, and that's gonna be a 4-0 victory for the Paris Eternal over the Guangzhou charge.
And a much needed 4-0 for Paris as well. The map differential is something they had to address because even though they're now 50%, they're still at -4 maps. So it's a mountain they have to climb, but an auspicious Stage 2 debut with new players for Paris and new roles for their existing players.
It's great to see. This new look Paris Eternal is exactly what this organization needs. The question is now, can they keep this momentum going as they move forward in Stage 2?
And also the Guangzhou charge. A team with a tough schedule last time, but some impressive results all the same. Struggled here against the Paris Eternal, and we'll see. It looked like a lot of communication issues bogging them down today.
Yeah, it was a bit odd to see the charge look so discombobulated, but got some time to turn it around. For now, though, we'll send it over to Mika, who has LH Cloudy standing by for an interview.
Thanks, guys. That's right. We got LH Cloudy down here on the floor. And congratulations on your amazing debut. You took the win today. And this is your first time on the Overwatch stage. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a good time. You had a lot of fun, and there's a lot of new changes in this meta. We've been seeing some interesting comps. Can you tell us what the practices and the scrims have been like? Have you been enjoying it? You know, getting to flex onto some different heroes?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Like first few weeks, everyone's trying out. Now it's kind of figured out, but it's been pretty fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you guys are having fun. It's always fun to see you guys enjoying yourself. So that's all we have down here. Back to you, Monty and Doa.
All right, so let's just review that. It was fun, and the meta's figured out. Thank you.
Yeah, we love how loquacious Cloudy can
right.
be in his interview.
You know who talks too much? LH Cloudy talks too much, guys. He needs to be a bit more concise. I think. Well, let's take a look at our player of the match. By Omen, by HP. Who's it going to be? Drumroll. It is the one, the only. It is Soon. That's right.
I know, and especially it feels good to have Soon, because we had to talk about his Zarya performance, which was sort of underwhelming at the start of the match. But you know what? He got back into his flanking ways, played some great Sombra today, very disruptive. And I think really this has always been Soon's greatest strength, is his decision-making when he's sort of he's that solo operator.
He's the lone wolf.
He's the lone wolf, deep behind enemy lines.
Right.
Trying to disrupt the enemy composition. He got another chance to do that today. And not only that, his Zarya looked like it had improved as well.
Yeah,
So.
that was one of the complaints we had with him in stage number 1, is that Zarya did look a bit shaky from time to time, but performing really well on it today. And of course, like you said, the ability to kind of go back and cause those individual plays to swing things around, a big part of what delivered Paris Eternal that 4-0.
Yeah, Soon is the solo disruptor, right? That's where you want him to play. This is a meta where they're trying to figure out how to use him better, and I think the Sombra was a great way to empower his strengths.
Yeah, well, a fun day of matches, guys, but we're not done yet. That's right, Watch Point post-show coming up next, so do not miss it. We'll see you guys tomorrow for more Overwatch League games. But again, post-show, watch it. See you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
You want to Excelsior game? You know what's up.